Cole, thank you very much for your time and for joining us in the program. Disability Rights South Dakota's vision is to embrace change and envision a South Dakota where people with disabilities have a life of inclusion and dignity, where they are self-directed and without barriers, where all citizens receive equal treatment and respect for their decisions, where citizens with disabilities and their families can live from fear of abuse, neglect, discrimination, and exploitation. Tell us more about the work of your organization.
Yeah, I think you pretty much encapsulated it. I think that was a really good description. Our overall focus is to make sure that people, especially those that receive services in residential settings, are free of abuse, neglect, exploitation, as you said. Over the years, since the invention of agencies like this, our mission has expanded to include protection of rights for people in all areas of the community and community living. So that can include residential settings, special education, employment, housing, anything that receives protections under federal law. Well, we're here to help to advocate for and protect people up into including representation in the court system. If you wanted to put it in a nutshell, our goal is to ensure full inclusion and acceptance of people with disabilities in communities so that they can live, work, and play just like any of the rest of us would hope and expect to do in our daily lives.
In the time that you've worked in your position, what are some of the barriers and opportunities that your organization has faced in fulfilling its mission and vision?
Well, in South Dakota, we have the opportunity and the advantage of having communities that are really accepting and they want to reach out and help people, whether it's their neighbor who might be struggling or an individual who has an intellectual developmental disability. There is really a community of helping and extending those offers of service. The barriers that we still see, I think a lot of times, are those stereotypes, whether that's about the abilities and capabilities of somebody with an intellectual disability, or some of the things that we hear about with people with mental illness, the situations that other people might deal with in their personal lives is something that people assume or ascribe to other individuals. And really, people with disabilities are different than any other person in the world. They have their own capabilities and limitations and issues that they deal with and ways in which they can contribute to the communities around them. And so keeping that in mind, keeping in mind that everybody should be approached on their own individual attributes is really the first step that we try to encourage people to keep in mind as they're working with somebody with a disability.
Born from a lack of experience, right, or interacting with people with disabilities, often gravitate to the disability and not to the ability, as you've mentioned. In late 2024, South Dakota joined a multi-state lawsuit challenging the Biden administration's decision to include gender dysphoria under the protections of Section 504, a key federal disability rights law. The lawsuit sparked public concern that broader disability protections, especially for students, might be at risk. In light of the legal debate surrounding Section 504 and disability protections, how is Disability Rights South Dakota positioning itself to reassure families and reinforce its advocacy mission amid political uncertainty?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. It's a really big question. That's something that we wrestle with day in and day out. I would like to clarify, however, that Disability Rights South Dakota, the PNA for South Dakotans, did not join that website. Our Attorney General's office did join the lawsuit along with the Texas Attorney General to challenge that Biden-era rule. And what Disability Rights South Dakota did was to engage with the Attorney General's office and with the community as a whole and express our concerns of some of the language that are outlined within that complaint. particularly the language surrounding requesting that the court find sections or portions of Section 504 unconstitutional. We felt that it was really important that Section 504 remain in place and in force in full because it's for many years been the bulwark, the cornerstone of legal protections for people with disabilities. It's been the reason that people with disabilities have been able to uh, be present in the workforce and to receive adequate special education services. And I think that in terms of how our role looks in this fight, in this discussion, the PNA recognizes that Section 4 is universally valued by Americans. People understand that it articulates principles that we hold as a nation, those of opportunity, fair play, and inclusion. The challenge for DRSD and other advocates is to keep these principles on the leading edge of the conversation. Eroding or chipping away rights is how liberty dies. And so every little loss in court or in the public square or in the legislative process is one piece that takes out the foundational that we've come to enjoy. And so I believe that we as Americans must cherish those hard-earned freedoms and continually remind our communities of this importance. The importance of Section 504, the ADA, and other disability rights, that the people that came before me in this agency and the people that came before the communities that now enjoy those rights fought for over many years to obtain. And so cases like Becerra, especially as it was initially laid out in their complaint, was a major concern for us as the PNA. And that's why we contacted our Attorney General's office and worked with the attorney there who was involved with that case and really expressed our concerns over that language. To their credit, I believe that the Attorney General of South Dakota, through his attorney that was working that case, and other attorneys who had signed on to it, acknowledged that that particular section of the complaint and the potential 504 was not something that was in the best interests of our communities, our nation as a whole.
Now we're talking to you in your position as executive director of DRSD, but you're also a Marine Corps vet. Tell us about your upbringing and who and what inspires the work that you lead today.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I'm really proud of my service with the Marine Corps. I grew up in Pierce, South Dakota. That's where I currently work and reside. I left straight out of high school and joined the Marines. And I believe that the work that I do now with the PNA, with Disability Rights South Dakota, is inextricably to my goals and what drew me to join the Marines. When I think many people join the service, they do so with the goal and with the desire to protect people, to protect people's rights, to protect liberty, to fight for the freedoms that we all enjoy as Americans. And when I joined the Marines, those were the types of things that I wanted to do. I felt as though that was the best place for me to be able to do my part to protect people, protect freedom. And so once I got out of the Marines and finished law school, really just by a stroke of fate, I had the opportunity to get involved with the PNA system and with disability rights. And that's really a continuation of that same sort of goal, to protect liberty, protect rights for people, to protect people from being oppressed by people that are more powerful. And so now I'm doing essentially the same sorts of things that I was doing with the Marines, the goals and the aspirations that I had for my service in the Marines carries on in my work with the PNA. It's the only difference being is that now instead of carrying an M16 and body armor or a PAN or a Westlaw subscription, I'm really thankful for the work that PNAs do, not just myself here speaking to you as an executive director, but also staff, my advocate, attorneys, and my administrative staff that are talented individuals that could be doing other things in their lives and perhaps even making more money, but they do this because they really believe in the mission that we have to help people and to do something that's somewhat um, part of just this moment in their lives, but can have ripple effects through their entire life because they were afforded the opportunity to get a good education and to get the job that's going to be fulfilling for them. And so I would say that being able to do this work to ensure that people are not forgotten and left behind, I think that I really appreciate that opportunity to be involved in that. And I really admire all the work that's done throughout the United States in this same sort of field.
And I appreciate the opportunity to be able to highlight the great work that you are doing and the team at DRSD is leading. Cole Uecker, Executive Director of the Disability Rights South Dakota, thank you so much for your time and for your insights.
Thank you. Appreciate it.